Good afternoon. Welcome to today's webinar event. It's promptly 1 p.m. here. Welcome to today's webinar event. My name is Joshua. I'm going to be your presenter today. We're here to talk about the accounting and the bank reconciliation process in Church Windows Accounting. It's a pretty complex topic here. We're not going to spend a whole lot of, I'm trying to move through this initial material pretty quickly. Hopefully everybody can hear me okay. We're going to be together. I'm going to try to get this into the 20 minutes if at all possible. It might run a little long. We'll try our best to, kind of pound through the material as quickly as we can. I will try to wrap it up, at as close to the 20-minute mark as I can. Just as always, though, please keep in mind that today's webinar event is being recorded. The video will be out on our website sometime in the next, day or two. Just for you to revisit. So if you have to dive out, you've allotted 20 minutes. We apologize if it goes long, but you can revisit it to finish up the, wrap up the last portion of it here if you're unable to stay. But just an FYI, we already do have a series of bank reconciliation recordings out on our support center page already. It's a very common topic. It's an important topic, and so we've got a lot of videos and documents already out here. First bank reconciliation, when bank reconciliation does not reconcile. There's all kinds of documents out on the bank reconciliation and videos out here already. But today's recording will be out there as quickly as possible for you to revisit should you need to. If you have questions, please type those into the questions portion of the webinar control panel. Please keep them on topic, meaning about our bank reconciliation topic. It's just what I'm set up for and equipped to answer questions for today. If you have other questions about Church Windows, please call our support staff, 800-533-5227. Our technicians, myself included, are happy to help. There is a handout on today's event. So if you click the handout portion of your control panel, you'll find the document there, or you will find it on our website for the bank reconciliation there on our website under the Support Center. So click the handout. You can download or print the PDF there. It's the document that I'm using for today's webinar event. The bank rec, information is also found in our workbooks as well. There's lots of information about the bank reconciliation process. Okay. So let's go ahead, I will answer your questions as best I can, when I can find a point in the event to answer those questions. Or if not, I'll put it off to the end, or I may even have to put it off to a support call depending on your specific, if your problem is specific to your data, okay? So as the document or the handout points out is that, Church Windows is an accounting system where we want to make sure that Church Windows, the transactions and entries that we're recording in the Church Windows database, accounting database, is in line or in keeping with the information that as it appears on our bank statement each and every month, okay? All that the bank reconciliation process is a comparison between what's recorded in the church's books, in this case Church Windows Accounting, and what is being recorded or appearing on the bank statement and the bank records, okay? It's basically just to ensure that the data in our software is consistent with what the bank records show. Okay, that's it. Okay. As the note on page 1 of that Introduction to Bank Reconciliation document points out is if you're just starting to use the Church Windows accounting system, you may have to post deposits in transit or outstanding checks from your prior system. Basically ones that if you're trying to start Church Windows Accounting as of say 1/1 of 2019, that you've got uncashed and uncleared items from December 31st of 2018 and earlier, you're not going to enter those in your beginning balance, but you do need to record those here under special functions and prior system checks as entries that will then appear on your bank reconciliation here to clear when they actually hit the bank statement. And as it shows right here under prior system checks for bank reconciliation only, items entered will not be recorded as transactions. That's really an important distinction. If you have questions about this, please call us or call me about when you think you may need to use the prior system checks. But in this case, we're going to be they're going to show up on the bank rec either way, okay? But we're not going to get into that, okay? If you have questions about it, please call me. All right. So the bank reconciliation is found in one of two places. Right here, we've got our bank reconciliation button right here at our home screen, or it can be found under special functions at the top, and bank rec here in the upper left-hand corner, okay? Hopefully everybody can see that up there, okay? So when we click on the bank reconciliation, it opens up our bank rec screen. Now, folks, I'm just pointing out that my data is set up for 2018. The document that we print out basically blocks out the year, because it doesn't really matter when you're reconciling it for. Just keep in mind we're using 2018 data here, not 2019, but you're going to enter whatever statement ending date in the accounting year that represents the statement period that you're actually trying to reconcile, okay? So when we open up our bank reconciliation screen, we see several tabs across the top here. They're gray because each one of these tabs requires certain information be entered before the next one is available to us, okay? So the first thing on our account tab is it's asking us to choose the asset account that we're reconciling. In this case, we're going to choose our Huntington Bank checking account, our main checking account. If you have reconciliations which have been previously started, either saved or finalized, the select a saved bank reconciliation would be available to us. But we don't have any bank recs in 2018 yet started. We're actually reconciling January 1 of 2008 or January 31st of 2018. So we are now just entering a new one for the first time that year. Okay, so we type in, we're going to choose begin a new bank reconciliation. Okay, and once we click, and again, folks, enter the statement ending date that matches the actual statement ending date that's on your physical bank statement, okay? If we don't enter the same date, there could be transactions that we're seeing that should not be there, or there could be transactions that are missing. So make sure that you're entering the actual statement ending date of the actual bank statement or statement period that you're reconciling, okay? Once we've chosen the asset account and entered the statement ending date and click Next, it now, notice, opens up. The account tab goes away. The next tab that opens is our statement tab. Okay, so now it's prompting us to enter our statement balances and totals, and I can't stress this enough. Statement balances and totals, okay? This is information as it appears on your bank statement itself, okay? So this is figures from the actual physical bank statement that you're actually attempting to reconcile. So we're going to go ahead, and I've got a statement here in my hand that you folks can't see that I'm going to be entering my statement totals for. So we had our beginning balance for January 1, or as of the beginning statement period of $77,340.67. Total deposits, and again I'm going to point this out. Notice the plus sign, the minus, and the equal sign. This equation has to make sense. Okay, it's flashing this red dot at us right here because the beginning balance plus deposits minus withdrawals doesn't equal the ending balance yet. Okay, it will. So then we're going to record our total deposits here. So our deposits are $25,773.34. Tab down, we enter our total withdrawals of $13,599.36. Again, folks, all gathered from my bank statement, meaning that we have an ending balance of $89,514.65. Okay, so I have one of two choices. I can either hit my tab key, or I should be able to click Next, assuming this equation makes sense. So if I hit tab, notice now my red dot goes away. The equation is sensible, okay? Beginning balance plus deposits minus total withdrawals equals the ending balance. The total deposits figure here must include any interest or earnings that are recorded on your statement or showing up there for whatever reason, whether that's including interest, dividends, whatever it is, it has to include that. The withdrawals also has to include not only checks and withdrawals, but it has to include any, say, bank fees or anything else. Again, the equation has to make sense. Okay? We're not looking now down at our difference to reconcile down here at the bottom, okay, because we haven't cleared anything. So we're going to show a difference between our adjusted bank balance and our asset balance per accounting, and our difference to reconcile is not going to show zero because nothing's been cleared. Okay? So we have to now proceed to next. All right? So now we go to next. It now opens up our next tab called charges and interest, and again it would be fees and charges and other bank debits not previously recorded, or interest and other bank credits not previously recorded. So we do have some interest here, so we're going to type in our interest checking and savings, and it was nominal at best. It was 34 cents, but if I don't enter it, I'm not going to get to a zero difference to reconcile. Okay, I could have recorded this before I came into the bank reconciliation process as an income or a journal entry transaction crediting the interest income account and debiting cash, or I can do it this way, okay? The advantage of recording it here is the system knows or assumes it's an item showing on my bank reconciliation or bank statement, and therefore it will clear these transactions automatically. I can enter any desired comments to the right if I wish, but it will, if I'm not mistaken, will enter some comments for me systematically. Very important thing to understand here is I can't just choose the income account and enter the amount. I must go down here to the very bottom and I have to click post. If I don't post those, they're not going to appear as items and be cleared. Okay? A lot of folks mistake that. They just enter it and they click next, and then they wonder why they have a difference to reconcile. So I'm now going to click post. It's now posted those transactions and cleared them, or that transaction. Okay, so then we now go to next, and now it takes us to our deposits tab. All right, so now we're on our third page of our bank reconciliation document, okay, where it's talking about our deposits. So simply I would go down my statement and match up the deposits and put check marks here in the left-hand column in the cleared box next to those deposits as they appear on my bank statement. Okay? So deposits is kind of a little tricky sometimes, because sometimes deposits that may appear on our bank statement as one lump sum total are represented in the Church Windows accounting system as separate entries. And where I can best demonstrate and show you that is right here for these deposits, these donations deposits dated January 15th. Okay? Right here, I've got several deposits that all are made up of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different transactions or 7 different transactions in the software, but are represented by a total on my bank statement. Okay? So I have one of two choices. I can get out my calculator and I can add those up. Terribly tedious, especially if, this is common if you've got a lot of, like, say, electronic, e-givers that are giving electronically that are represented by different deposits in the software, but again, showing up on my statement as one lump sum total, okay? And if I've got a number of dates in the month, that could be really tedious. Or I can let the software use some features and some power in it that does the work for me. So what this talks about, what I'm mentioning here is that right up here on the top left, we've got, see where it says drag a column header here to group by that column. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pick up my column header called date occurred, and I'm going to drag that up there, and I'm going to drop that right here. And notice what it does to my deposit totals. It bundles everything together by date. So now my January 15th date of 2018 shows a total of all those deposits of $1,068. I can now steer my focus to my deposit on on my bank statement, and sure enough, my deposit for January 15th on my bank statement matches at 1068. Okay, I can now expand that and clear all those, or I can go up to the check all button at the top and do the check all button right up here. Check all, uncheck all, okay, and it will just systematically check those deposits, okay, all of them. Or I can go down under each one of the dates and check them manually, okay, either one. Okay, so I'm going to do check all. Now everything's checked. Notice here's my 34-cent interest interest transaction that again was systematically cleared, and over here interest and other bank credits for statement ending 131 under my comments. As I said, it enters something for you automatically. Okay. Now notice that my adjusted bank balance and balance per accounting have changed, as has my difference to reconcile. I have now cleared some transactions, okay, and that's going to change. The adjusted bank balance is the figure that will change. The asset balance per accounting is fixed, okay? That's just simply the asset balance in the software as of your statement ending date, in this case, January 31st, okay? Now we're going to go to our next button, and we're going to go to our Withdrawals tab. These are all of your withdrawals that are checked on your system as cleared, that are outstanding in Church Windows, that we simply again they're going to be sorted in date occurred order. So we notice that we've got a withdrawal or a check that was written to Kroger as of December 8th, but just of 2017. But again, keep in mind, we're doing our January 2018 statement ending period. But again, any withdrawals that are outstanding are going to show up here. So simply, you would go down the list and you would check all of the checks as they appear on the statement. And I can't stress this enough, folks. You can't just look at the checker reference number. You have to verify the amounts as well. As a technician that's been doing this and a trainer that's been doing this for as long as I have, one of the most common mistakes that folks make is they just match up the check number. They don't verify the amount. Perhaps the bank cleared the check for an amount different than the one that we recorded in the software. Okay? Maybe we made a mistake. Maybe the bank cleared it for the wrong amount, but you can't just verify checker reference number. You have to verify amounts as well. I'm a big fan of, as I'm going through my bank statement and checking these items off, I'm putting a tick mark next to it on the statement to make sure that I've verified that both the check number and the amount are correspond and are correct, okay? Again, I'm not going to go through this line item by line item. It's terribly tedious. I've got a number of transactions here. You don't see my statement. Again, keep in mind I've got to check all and uncheck all, okay? So I have two checks that are outstanding. So if I do check all now, notice I've got a difference to reconcile. Okay, the assumption is, I made the assumption that all of my withdrawals were cleared. That's really probably not the case. Checks that are written at the end of the month oftentimes will not clear until the following month. But this does allow me the opportunity to show another new wonderful feature in here under the bank reconciliation at the bottom called Get Help Reconciling, okay? You have that under both your deposits tab, we've got to Get Help Reconciling, or withdrawals, okay? If I click on that, on either tab, it opens up some new tabs across the top of my bank reconciliation screen, okay? Help deposit comparison, help withdrawal comparison, help withdrawal deposit line items, and help withdrawal line items, okay? I personally find the two that are the most helpful are the deposit and withdrawal comparison tabs. Why? Because it takes the total deposits from the statement that I entered, compares those to the difference in the deposits in transit, basically deposits that I have uncleared, compares those to the total deposits recorded in accounting, and it generates a difference. Basically what this does, it allows us to determine where the difference to reconcile comes from. Is it on the deposit side or the withdrawal side? So in this case, the difference on our deposits is 0. If I now jump over to my help withdrawal comparison, sure enough, there's my difference. Okay? So now I need to go back and revisit my withdrawals tab and redouble check my withdrawals. Okay? But sure enough, down here I've got two checks at the end of January of 2018 that I've checked as cleared by mistake. And once I uncheck those, notice I now have a 0 difference to reconcile. As I like to tell folks, and I state this on my support calls, as I've been doing it for years, there is no reason why anyone attending this webinar should not be able to reconcile their asset account to 0 every single month, okay? And I always like to also qualify that by stating that a difference to reconcile doesn't bother me as long as I know what it is and how and when it will clear up, okay? There are certain circumstances under which a difference to reconcile may not resolve itself, okay? May not resolve in the month that I expected. Something was, like a payroll check was posted in the next month, but somebody cashed the check early in the previous month, okay? But those are unique type situations. But you should be able to get to a zero difference to reconcile every single month, provided all of the transactions that are recorded in Church Windows are recorded correctly and cleared appropriately, okay? If you have a difference to reconcile, there is a discrepancy simply between what is entered in Church Windows and perhaps cleared in comparison to what's showing up on the bank statement, okay? It's simply a comparison between Church Windows and the bank, okay? You should be able to reconcile Church Windows to zero every month with a very few exceptions, okay? Don't overthink the bank reconciliation. It is not a terribly difficult process. If you have a difference to reconcile, certainly give us a call. Our technicians, myself included, as stated earlier, are certainly happy and willing and happy to help.